Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It's your boy Marvin. We're going to be talking part 3 on Sadia and Andrew Tate. Let's get straight into the video and we'll comment as we go. I'm not going to go through the whole video. I'm just going to pick up points and move on because I don't want it sort of to be the video so long. So yeah, let's get on with it.
Now you're on the camera. Yeah. This is going to go on.
Go on, tell the world I'm horrible.
You're going to both have the opportunity from everything you've seen, edited, non-edited.
Yeah.
What was your issue or what's your non-issues?
Well, the first time I saw you speak on something, I remember I wasn't really watching the TV. I just heard it in the background. It must have been on my phone. And I heard you say something. And I was like, is that guy Pakistani? And that's when I was like, no. I was like, he's definitely Pakistani. You were saying something that was very familiar for me. I'm Pakistani. So I was like, he must be. And then I found out you grew up in Luton. So I was like, that makes sense. Everything he says, I'm so familiar with it. I would expect nothing less. The men I'm around would think exactly the same way. So I don't find it shocking or misogynist. I'm raised like that.
But do you agree with it? That's not about what you're used to now. I'm asking with what his stance is. Yeah. Do you agree as a woman? Because he gets a lot of backlash, but he made a good point.
Yeah.
I've been around him nearly every day sometimes. Yeah. I've never seen a woman in public come and say something bad. So I want to know, who are these women? Is it a movement? I want to know, because I've never seen anyone say it to me.
I would say one thing. I would say sometimes it can be divisive. Like what we're saying, nice guys finish last, but sometimes nice girls do. And I think let's try and remove the division and focus on society rather than just men have this really bad. I get men have it really, really bad. But society is shit. Women have it bad in some ways, men have it bad. I think women are becoming more and more detrimental. I think that, but it's not really entirely their fault. It's the way society is now structured. So I think let's try and less this division and more how do we fix this, because I want to see families. I want to see, and sometimes what happens is it's not you but your followers. I always say your followers are this loser guy who's never had options, who now starts saying fuck women, and it's like, but you haven't earned that status. You can't speak like that because you haven't done the legwork it takes.
She's dissing the war room, bro. She's dissing your Hustlers University, bro.
No. I get they're putting in the work though. They're in some way putting in the work, but it's the guy with not putting in the work who's just listening. The problem is when your message lands on men without money, they can't. It doesn't land properly because they're just saying, I want lots of women, I want lots of hoes, but it's like you can't fund those women and you can't get those women to submit to you, so you can't emulate Andrew Tate, but you want to, and so that's where we need to kind of educate them in order to.
Very true. This is where the disconnection is because some men do get on the high horse and think, I'll get sued and booted, I'll go on like Andrew Tate, but I haven't got the backing to do that. These days, the world we live in, I said it yesterday, you have to have the money to back things up. I'm not saying I love money, but for me personally, I like the success and the comfortability. Being comfortable is not a bad thing. But great points from Sadia at the end of the day, because I think people do get excited, but what come unstuck is because you've got to have some power and money behind you before you can put yourself on the map or people see you as someone to look up to.
To have your views, they have to have your lifestyle.
Valid. Yeah. That's very valid. And I feel like I do say it a little bit, but I need to say it more. But I say repeatedly that if you're not talk to your male, you can't. Life sucks. And I agree with you about the divisive thing as well. Yeah. The only reason some of it comes across divisive, I think, is because a lot of the time, especially in America, I'm arguing against rabid feminists, right? So I'm trying to say, look, blah, blah, blah. But no, that's valid points.
Okay. So that's the only issue.
Well, that's the only issue for me.
Okay. Actually, Lubna, it's good you actually met. Lubna's the one who wrote an article backing us when we were doing that event here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as an Arab lady here, it was very good, empowering, because I've noticed one thing: the Western women don't like to feud with Arabic women who are educated. I've noticed that they fear them.
Yeah.
Like with Lubna, when she posts, I see her comments. There's not really anyone going against her with me. It's like, F you, you're this, you're scum. You've got a wife in a picture there without hijab. Your kids are this. Like I get this abuse because But Lubna, what was your issue with his whole cancel? Did you have an issue? What was your issue with Dubai in itself, or some Middle Eastern pockets of Middle Eastern women? This new generation are having an issue apparently online.
Look, I think that for you to be as famous as you are today, you had to do things in a certain way. You had to be extra controversial, and now you got here. I think the reason a lot of the women were pissed off because it's kind of like you're just turning in the knife, you know what I mean? Telling them like, ooh, you know, we can do this, like we've got, you know, and you can't, you know? Yeah. So I think now that you do have that platform, you can actually be really helpful to a lot of women. Like I think a lot of women do agree with a lot of things that you said, and men, but they don't necessarily like the delivery because it's just a little bit like, you know, kind of like pissing off.
But it's an amazing platform to create because you won't believe how many racist little white boys are now saying, I want a Muslim girl, I'll do. I want a and I'm like, ooh, look, you completely eradicated Islamophobia. And it's something like Mo Salah did for a little while in Liverpool. Like they really actually became, and I think anything that, from my perspective, anything that can draw light to a faith that I feel really passionate about, I'm always grateful for whoever shines a torch on that. So
I won't even say it's young white boys, because if you go to Russia, the men are the same as me, same as us, like Russia, East Europe. These kind of places, they're very alpha male, they're very old school, traditional.
Very
I think it's the Western, real Western
Islam comes
pockets.
naturally to alpha men. It kind of is a natural transition because it teaches alpha kind of behavior anyway.
Like, I know people like this, little dislike this, but Vladimir Putin, a lot of people have a negative thing. I see him as a very powerful and influential man. I respect him.
Yeah.
And people say, oh no, I don't see people run around and watch the press, how they take it, and the media portrays everything. But if you really study the situation, I respect him as a leader. Yeah. I've been to Moscow many times. Crime's quite low. It's organised mafia kind of thing. You won't see stabbings and acid attacks. Women are safe. It's still traditional.
Women are really well treated in Russia. Like,
I think good points they're making there, but I do think sometimes you've got to look into things yourself to find out about people, to find out what makes someone tick. At the end of the day, I always think sometimes if I've got a bad vibe about someone, I'm not saying that I know 100% at the end of the day, but I'm quite a good reader of people. But I tend to sit back until I maybe meet them again or feel calmer. It's just the life we live in today. I think people have got different beliefs. I think sometimes people can get angry, especially online at points that are made. But I'm pretty open-minded, so I see things from both points of view and try to be balanced at the end of the day. Yes, it's so easy to get argumentative, but I thought, what's the point in getting stressed at the end of the day? Because like I said, we can't change people. We can't really change the world for what it is. We can give people advice, but if they want that advice.
To learn. So I'm just on a journey like everyone else, and I'm trying to study it.
So give us some Arabic words. Let's hear some.
All I know so far is halas, because I usually search. This is the easiest word, halas. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's very hard. So I'm doing my best with it. But I think, like I've explained before on other podcasts, it's the only religion that's left on the planet that has serious boundaries. I saw actually Islamic guy, an Islamic podcast, I don't know who he was, who said Tate reverted to Islam because it's intolerant, or because its degree of intolerance is because of its strict lines, and people are trying to walk away from it because of its strict lines. But Tate understands the beauty of strict lines, and that's exactly what it is. You need to have boundaries in life, like everything we just discussed. If you remove boundaries, it becomes a free-for-all, right? So you need to have boundaries.
No, that's a very good point he made, because I've not seen that. I'd like to watch that, because I speak to guys about Islam all the time, and young boys, and I see them trying to chase that Western kind of way of life. I want to be this, that. When you've got a guy who has it all in this world, like you say, he comes to Islam. So to all you young guys, feel ashamed. Like, don't feel shy or embarrassed to be what you are, a Muslim, and be proud. Like, I've always been. I could be in a meeting, anywhere. Everyone knows me. I won't touch alcohol. I'll pray in the corner. And I think a lot of Muslim women are tending to shy away. And I'm sorry, we need more women to put, like, they see it as it's kind of like controlling the hijab, when millions and millions of women wear the hijab willingly as a sign of empowerment. So I think men, we have like people look. I think women are in a problem in a crossroads in life where there's no role models. They're chasing this hunky-dory stupid fairy tale. They're ashamed of being modest, and I've got 2 daughters, and I'm thinking which cave to move into when they're 16.
I think Russia. I would personally recommend Russia, but I think also you can't have it all. Like, you need to know that you cannot have it all. You know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. life is all about, you know, there's a quote I love, which is, if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. You just got to do it. Like, if you want a nice body, you have to go to the gym, like, every single day, you know. Nothing comes easy. Like, it's not like, okay, now we have Uber, we have Uber Eats, we have everything. Like, everything is now quick. You know, people need to understand that, like, things take time, and you have to sacrifice. You can't just get it easy, and
yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's been a good discussion. It's good to see, let the audience see ourselves. This was not planned. No one's been paid. Both women,
just
different backgrounds, and they kind of support what Andrew says. So that shows that maybe the media are portraying lies and trying to cancel him for a reason. Who knows?
I think that sometimes things are taken over the top or taken out of context, or sometimes people put a little clip of something Andrew Tate says. Everything he says, it wasn't all good, especially when he was saying silly things about women, which upset quite a few women online, and they didn't like that. He did apologise for it. You have to be careful how you come across. It's just a part. I could say a lot more, but I don't at the end of the day. I've been shadow banned a few times, but I probably deserved it. But it's just one of those things at the end of the day. You have to be careful what you say, especially if you just want your channel to grow. I'm going to have some debates and stuff like that, but you've got to keep things in control, like what Andrew says. If you haven't got controls, some kind of destiny, your life can really go out of control. I'm sort of going to move on a little bit, because I don't want to sort of go through the whole video.
Matrix programming. Matrix programming. They're trying very hard. Matrix programming, and
they're winning in that regard. They've indoctrinated most of the world. But who's your money on today, Morocco or France?
I'm praying for Morocco.
Let's pray for Morocco. Can we pray
for
Morocco? Let's pray for Morocco. Inshallah.
Historical, but
Paris is getting set on fire either. Paris is burning.
For sure.
If you have a Lambo in Paris, put it in the garage.
I feel sorry for Parisians
it's done.
tonight.
It's done.
Marbella was lucky.
It's going to be a nightmare tonight, but inshallah, let's see. But it's still good that they got this far.
Oh, it's amazing, and even though football, we don't really care for football. Let's be honest.
It's not your sport, not your thing.
For me, individual sports, like we said, for me the ultimate sport is fighting. From the beginning of time, for the Greco-Romans, Spartans, mano a mano. For me, that's the only sport. Football is good and things, but listen, there's no sport like combat,
of course.
And like when you're younger, like I remember I was young. You go to a club, let's look, Ronaldo, Gaza, Lineker. But when Mike Tyson's sitting in the corner, everyone's like, wow, alpha. He can beat everyone up. He's rich as Tyson. Ronaldo wants a selfie. Khabib comes. There's a
Look, I did a bit of boxing before. My brother was into karate, kung fu, so learned a little bit from him. But I've seen a lot of boxers get hurt really bad, and they're mentally not the same. I do think sometimes, I think training's good and learning how to protect yourself, but I think actually full force combat force, it isn't good. And there was a couple of videos on Andrew Tate that he got hit in the head a few times, and he has to take, I think it's some special pills just to help him through life. And I do think that full force contact, especially when you get older, can affect you more than what you're younger. You've seen it in many boxers. Sometimes they've got a speech impediment. They slow down mentally and sometimes physically. We saw what happened to Muhammad Ali, and I think that was through some hard shots. Zab Judah had to retire, an American boxer, over taking hard shots. There's a lot of boxers, even sometimes Chris Eubank, I know he's a lovely guy, I know he's intelligent, but I think he's taken a few headshots. Nigel Benn. It is a difficult sport to be in, but I prefer the gym and a little bit of football if I've got time, and just eating well. I think that is one of the main priorities, eating well and keeping your mind clean as well.
different
all the movie stars go to the big boxing matches for a reason.
Yeah.
Every man watching or kid will say you can have any sports star. Djokovic, I mean, who cares? Nice guy, but Djokovic is over there. That's great. There's Mayweather. There's Khabib. Fighting has this thing as kids. We like He-Man. We like WWF. We like Rocky Balboa. It's instilled in them since the beginning of birth. So you can't change that. Yeah. As much as you want to push an agenda to wear a skirt or play with Barbie.
Yeah.
Men are men. Men love He-Man. Tough to survive. I'm the hardest. Since in the back of school parks, you're fighting. I'm the strongest. I am. Headlock punching your brother.
Yeah.
And I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, but that is innate and it's biological, and that's what they're attacking. That's what's happening here. They're trying to attack that and say that that's not the idea of masculinity. You don't have to be that way, etc. And the point I want to make about all of this, the final point about it, is how dangerous that truly is, because this idea of masculinity being under attack and people saying that, men don't have to be real men. They don't have to stand up and do what they're supposed to do and have a hard time. They can be more emotional and be softer, etc. Do you know what you get when you get men who can't control their emotions? Violence. Yeah. Every school shooter, every fucking rapist, every murderer. These are men who cannot control their emotions. You tell.
Very true, and I do think a lot of it is sometimes the young boy comes from a broken family, and the mother does that best he can. My father wasn't always around, but my mum was. But I had a lot of older people around me, older brother, uncles and stuff, my sisters, basically husbands, and it was the help, because it teaches you when you were young enough to be a man, and I was inquisitive and wanted to answer a lot of questions. But I think it is true that sometimes men can have female traits because they've not been shaped, and only a man can do that.
Tell a man, I say the part of being a man is acting the right way regardless of how you feel. Whether you're happy, sad, you have to act like a man's supposed to because of your honor and duty. And society is saying, no, you can act how you feel as a man. But that creates murderous, rapists, school shooters, and idiots.
And domestic violence.
And domestic violence. She pissed you off. You better keep it chill. Telling men not to control themselves, you can see how quickly how society will degrade. Very quickly. It's all garbage and it's done on purpose. And you wonder why crime rates are through the roof. And bro, shaitan. I'm never going back to the West. I'm staying here.
No, honestly, I think, you're right. You spotted those. The West doesn't like it. The people that don't like have an agenda. It's a fact, because I've gone through hours. I was thinking, what was so bad what he said? I literally had to look at everything they said. I was like, huh? Like, there's much worse, like you say.
I think sometimes, with Andrew Tate, some of his points really, really hit home. Even to me, where I was cruising through a business, and then business basically slowed up, and I wasn't expecting it. I was taking loads of beautiful holidays, going anywhere I want, eating where I wanted. I was very, very comfortable, extremely comfortable. But sometimes it was a lazy comfortable, because I knew my job inside out. It was going to be done. I could finish a little bit early at the end of the day, kept the bosses happy. At the end of even though I'm self-employed, I basically subcontract business through directors and companies, but you can't rely on the system. Like anybody else, I've got savings. I put money away for a rainy day, but you never know what's going to go wrong before you start digging into your savings, and that's what you've got to be careful of. Very good point.
Cardi B's last song, going off topic. It plays on Chris Freida's Radio Virgin.
First thing in the morning.
No, it's like I am. Everything's dubbed. Why are you playing the song? No, listening to it on radio. It's all dubbed. That's how vulgar it is. And Western society said we don't like gangs, we don't like violence, we don't like gun culture. But yet they'll pay millions of dollars for a rapper to come and perform on stage in England. And they'll promote it. So you don't know what you're doing yourself.
Well, thank God for Dubai, I guess.
Alhamdulillah,
best city in the world. I was in London for 6 months over the summer, and I was literally
I'm sorry for you. I apologize.
was so depressed, and then as soon as I landed, I have to say this: Dubai is the best city. You love it, right?
Hands down.
It's the best. I can't believe I get to live here. I've been here a couple of years, and I still can't believe I get to live in such an amazing city. It's the best, especially as a woman.
That's a testimony to the leadership.
Yeah,
you can have money, you can have countries. Leaders make countries. Leaders make cities, and his vision, he's made it a safe haven.
Dubai is I've been there a couple of times. It's very, very safe. Some parts are expensive, but you can live within your means if you're careful. You meet all kinds of people. I think at the end of the day, rich, medium, normal people. But I think it is a lovely, clean place, and it's very, very organised. I do like Dubai.
Even it's safe, it's got money, it's got the best of everything.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, safety, the way to make money, the tax. I mean, I was in a restaurant the other day, I saw him. He has no security. You can greet him. You can't. If you saw Boris Johnson in a restaurant, he's going to have 5,000 people around him. People are going to start wanker at him. No one cares for him. The sheikh drives around on his own, shakes hands with people, gives what you want. I've seen people go up to him saying, my wife's sick or I can't do this, and they look after you. So that's why the people love him as a leader, because he looks after the people, hence the community's right, the safety's good, and you need more countries like the Arab world in the world. I think the whole world will be better.
Incredible.
You nailed it.
Yeah, that's
you spent 6 solid months in London.
I know. I was so depressed. I couldn't believe this was my life. And as soon as I landed, like this, it was instant antidepressant. As soon as you land, so you don't have depression. You just live in London.
That's right.
Just move.
I'm not going to get into that one with him now about depression, because people will come hit me with that one.
You don't have depression. Just move.
It's true. I think London's overpopulated. I think it's a bit overrated now. I do think that there's a lot of people who went there to better themselves and realised that they can't get out of ruts. I lived there in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was just I was just a basically apprentice chef there. Stayed there for about 6 months, 6 to 9 months. And then moved back to my city. It's different. It was different. Then it was a bit different. It was vibing then. But it's changed so much where I don't think that there's the opportunities for young people as there were before. But I hope the government can get around it. But at this present moment, I don't see how.
Yalla, come on, let's just move. It's amazing.
Thanks again.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Our special guest. I wanted to.
So that's the end of the series with Sadia and Andrew Tate. I thought they got on. There was no clashes. I think Andrew has calmed his aura down, and I do think it's a good thing. Don't forget to subscribe to Stream On Entertainment and support the channel. Let's get to 450. Please support. It's just one click. Thank you, wherever you are in the world.